Welcome back to the channel. So this morning I have a very interesting story for you because I think this might affect how prosecutions go forward with regard to lockdown parties vis-a-vis the number 10 lockdown parties as against ordinary members of society. Now I say this because I read an article from Wales Online from the 1st of February about an Eloise Kaladoukas living in Cardiff, who was taken to Cardiff Magistrates Court and prosecuted for having a lockdown party against the COVID restriction rules. Now, she represented herself and she was first ordered to pay £2,026. And this was ordered in her absence because she didn't receive the original notice telling her about the court proceedings. However, when she went back to court, she represented herself and she asked the court to impose a £60 fine instead, which is the equivalent of a fixed penalty notice, instead of the original £2,026. Now, the court accepted this, but they also ordered her to pay a £34 victim surcharge, which is a standard thing in minor prosecutions, and £50 in prosecution costs, which is also standard in minor prosecutions. But even this might frustrate you because given the findings in the Sue Gray report, in that some of the events should not have been allowed to take place, there very much should be a full police investigation and there should be consequences following on from that. And unsurprisingly, she's told Wales Online that the situation with Boris Johnson is frustrating, because if you are in the position of being prosecuted because you had a lockdown party, because you were feeling distress from social isolation, but all the while parties were going on in Downing Street, which the Sue Gray reports, some of which should not have been allowed to develop as they did, and some of the events simply should not have been allowed to take place, then quite clearly it is difficult to justify one rule for one and another for another. Because after all, individuals like Ms. Kaladoukas found herself being prosecuted in the Magistrates Court, representing herself because she was a student, and doubtless paying for representation might have been out of her reach. So from my perspective as a barrister, I always say that the system should be fair and it should be applied fairly. It should be fought and defended equally and fairly. And so if a young lady like Ms. Kaladoukas has been prosecuted for this, so should others that have been involved in parties that should not have taken place. And indeed, Boris Johnson himself said that the UK is not remotely a corrupt country and MPs who break parliamentary rules should be punished. So the same should go for breaches of the lockdown rules which the government itself created. But it seems at the moment that the general public may never find out whether Boris Johnson or anyone else receives fines if the Metropolitan Police do find that they breached COVID rules, hosting parties in number 10. The force has so far said that they will not be revealing the names of any staff who received fixed penalty notices because the guidelines say that they would not be routinely identified. So as I've said in previous videos, I will be very interested to see what happens moving forward, and as I said, I will keep you updated. So in the meantime, thank you for watching.